Says live.
Hey everybody, I am back, Season 2, Episode 3. I hope you like the new setup, something I've been playing with, trying to get things to look a little bit better, a little bit more professional. But really what I've been trying to do is make it to where I can bring people on to the podcast. So since the beginning, since day one of last year when I started doing these, it was to make it so I could bring in interviews, I could bring in anybody, and we could talk about anything. So last week, and I've had Derek on before, but so last week we had Derek on, and this week we're also going to have Derek on, and here we are. So we got 1 second here. So, all right, so we got Derek on, and this is kind of an example to show so I can do some interviews, I can bring some other people on, and I'm sure you've seen other podcasts that are very similar that have this kind of thing. So but we're going to be a little bit more of a time crunch today. It's a little after 4 o'clock, and one of the things that I want to be done by 4:30, because at 4:30 Jeremy Rusko and Bobby will be going live with their monthly update. So definitely I'm as curious as anybody else to see what's new. So I'll bring Derek on. He's going to talk a little bit about the Glassblown Open special discs and releases and some information that a lot of people have been looking forward to. So thanks for coming again, Derek, and take it away, bud.
Okay. A lot of people have been waiting to hear some of this information. We just finally, actually within the last day or so, got all the information together and permission to release some of the information. So that's what we're going to do here. For starters, as everybody knows, if you were registered for the Glassblown Open as an amateur, you are most likely getting your player pack sent to you. I believe we're trying to get those sent out around April 20th is the goal. But in addition to your player's pack, everybody receiving a player's pack will be receiving a 2-disc mystery box added to that player pack that will include discs that were planned to be released at the Glassblown Open for one event or other. There was a few things planned for the Glassblown Open. Every year they have 3 sponsors for Win Your Card. If you win an amateur card, you then would go into the store, let them know you won your card, present your voucher, and they would present you with a disc that was donated by that sponsor. This year's sponsors were myself over at Unique, Infinite Discs, and DiscGolf Center. So you then would go into the store, let them know you won your card, present your voucher, and they would present you with a disc that was donated by that sponsor. I can hear you watching. Anyway, so the 3 cards, or the 3 discs that would have been in there are the very first run of the Prime Felon that Truly Unique was putting in there. The film's never been made before. There was a Moonshine Keystone, I believe it's a Moonshine Medium Keystone, that was going to be put in there by Infinite Discs. And there was a Lucid Sergeant that was going to put in the very first run of the DiscGolf Center. So those are 3 of the discs that you could possibly get. There was a Ring of Fire Ace Challenge scheduled for the bonfire. I believe it was every 15 minutes there was going to be an opportunity to throw off for an ace in this Ring of Fire challenge. Using a different disc every 15 minutes. It would have been a judge, a warden, a guard, or a deputy. And so those 4 discs will be mixed in the mystery boxes. In addition, we had The very first run of Prime Felons, we also had our first run stamped ones that were going to be released. A few at the collector's exhibit and the rest at the Flex Start XC tiers that we run, the double disc challenges. And then there was an exclusive 2-foil Felon that was going to be released at the XC tiers as well. They were going to be limited each day, and you could pick up a couple of those each day. Unfortunately, for obvious reasons, those were not used. There was some GBO outline discs. They were going to be on course at course souvenir tents at Jones Gold and at the Country Club. Those discs have now been mixed into those mystery boxes. The signature panel disc that we all look forward to every year, there's always 6 professional disc golfers that sit on a panel at the not the player party. I'm drawing a blank at the Scott, help me out. I'm drawing a blank. At the introduction, when they introduce all the TDs and stuff, they have a player panel. The player panel included this year would have been 5-time world champion Paul Macbeth, the current U.S. women's champion Kristen Tatar, former U.S. champion Nate Sexton and Nico Lacastro were going to be there. Trick shot artist and 2014 GBO champion Simon Lazat and the bazooka armed Estonian Albert Tam were all scheduled to be on the player panel. So that disc is a signature disc. Obviously, this year will not be signed, but that is on a Lucid X Suspect. Hopefully, if you get one of those discs, you'll have the opportunity at some point to run into those players here and there, or maybe even next year, and get that signed. There was a Beer Fest disc. I'm going to leave a little bit of mystery to the molds on some of this stuff. There was a Beer Fest disc. There was a Poker Party disc. I will tell you, those follow the theme of the West Side characters that we've seen on, like, the sauna disc and the beach party disc, things like that. And there's a lot of people out there that are collecting those. Then the art center, where we have our exclusive exhibit, we're releasing the very first Moonshine Lucid X Vandal, along with a limited edition GBO stamp of the Moonshine Lucid X Vandal. Lastly, the last one I'm going to be able to talk about today is Casa Ramos, which is a great Mexican food restaurant down in Emporia that many people frequent every year when they're there. They were releasing a tortilla EMAC Truth, as well as a Casa Ramos EMAC Truth with a black background. So those are a couple more discs that you can get in there. Now, in addition to those 2-disc mystery boxes added to your player pack, you will have the opportunity around the same date, April 20th. We'll get further information out, but around the same date, if you are a member of the Trilogy fan page, the actual fan page, not the Truly Unique page, not the Trilogy Talk page, but the fan page with over 10,000 members, that is where we will release a GBO mystery box. There will be 250 of these available. Truly Unique will be handling all sales of those, but you do not have to be a member of Truly Unique or a member of Trilogy Talk. Obviously, we would love to have you join those groups and follow Trilogy Talk and join Truly Unique, but you do not have to be a member. There will be 250 of those released. We will have a scheduled time, and when they're gone, they're gone. Those boxes will be $65 each, and each one of those will include 5 discs from this lineup. 5 mystery discs mixed up. You don't know what you're going to get. The hope is to make these boxes as as unique as possible. So if you were to order 2 or 3, our goal is to make sure you do not get 2 or 3 identical boxes. That's about the most I can release information-wise right now. That's a lot more probably than most were even expecting. So I think that's about all I have to bring to you regarding that. I'm not sure if there's anything else we want to discuss while we're on here, Scott.
I know, yeah, that's everything that we have the information on. I think there's a few more details and stuff like that that's still yet to come out. I know, yeah, there's a few other little things yet, but we just don't have those. Well, we don't have the details to give enough information out on that, but that's still quite a bit. I think that's pretty exciting. I mean, there's a lot of really cool molds in there, and I know as me and Derek have been talking about these molds, I'm personally want several of those. So, yeah, but that's kind of the gist. We had on the podcast last week. We talked and gave a little bit of insight of what we knew what was going to happen, and again, this is just kind of bringing a little bit more on. And I'd like to welcome everybody, Robert McCall, to the page.
So, it's my warden.
So he's practicing No Shave November right away.
Put out the beard, little McCall beard there.
So, but no, that is the basic of the GBO release, and I don't think we really have anything else on the GBO, right?
No, I believe that's all I'm allowed to let out at this time.
Okay.
I do have more information, but unfortunately, Doug kind of sent me an email breaking down what I was allowed to talk about and what he'd shoot me for. So I'm going to stick to what I'm allowed to talk about.
So, well, like we said, we're going to keep this one a little bit shorter. I'd like to be off at least in the next 10 to 15 minutes so we can watch the DD release. But something I didn't even ask you about, Derek, I ran across the other day, non-GBO related, but have you seen the new thing that's been going on, the Global Pandemic Putting League or Putting Challenge? Have you seen it?
Yeah, I haven't seen that.
You should to check that out, and anybody who's watching it, you should go check it out. It's getting a pretty good following, and basically what this group of people are who created this is it's called the Global Pandemic Putting Challenge. So if you look at it on Facebook, you can find those details. But basically it's 3 weeks long, I believe. Don't quote me on all these specific details, but basically people go on there and they do a Facebook Live on that particular page doing, I don't know if it's 4 or 5 putts, but from 20 feet, and you record yourself until you miss. So if you miss the very first one, it's done.
I did see something about that.
But the idea is this to promote you to be able to stay at home, but practice putting. And so you're not on the course, you're not anywhere in public, you're in your backyard, in your apartment. I saw Brandon Redmond did one today, which was in his apartment. He even had the middle pole all kind of wrapped up for noise. It does have to be an approved basket. So the one caveat is you can't use a homemade basket. You show the basket, you show kind of the proof of 20 feet, and you do your putts and you record them until you miss. And then there's a Google form that you go on there and you submit whether you make any or not, and they do a bunch of random drawings. And I know they have a list of at least 10 sponsors. I mean, DynamicDiscs, Innova, RPM, discs, maybe Mint discs, but there's a few different sponsors that are on there. So with everything that's kind of going on at the moment, I think it's a pretty neat thing. I really wanted to kind of share it. So yeah, if you haven't seen that, and I think it's something that, even in both of our schedule, you or I plan on participating. I'll probably do a video this week of it. Like I said, just something quick and just something to do and be a part of the community. But for a lot of you guys that are just sitting at home and not sure what you're doing or what's going on, I think this is a pretty cool thing to do. A pretty cool little community thing to do. And so, yeah, you got to check it out. We all need more practice putting. And probably the only other thing that I saw today that I kind of wanted to promote and help out a little bit, and this is kind of goes into a 2-part thing, but for those that are watching or catch this later on, is in the world that we're in right now, and I'm sure Derek can appreciate this or understand this as well. make sure if you're doing your shopping, try to do your shopping with those small businesses, those local businesses. So today I saw Jason Oxen with 208 Discs. He does a lot with Zuka, and Jason Wilder I saw did a post as well. But I reached out specifically to Oxen, and they have a new bag called the Tracker bag. Did you see that at all, Derek?
I haven't seen that one.
You can buy. It's a new bag that fits onto the Zuka just backpack cart, not the LG cart or the EZ cart. I think it's just the straight up backpack cart. And I saw a sample of it in Arizona with Jason Wilder, and it's pretty impressive. It's got a ton of space. I really like the improvements they did on this cart. That I ordered one from Jason, and so my point was, and I mean, I'm not trying to toot my horn or anything, but I have a retail account or wholesale account from Zuka, so I could have ordered it from them, but I knew I wanted it, so I ordered it from Jason to kind of support them. So my point is, when you're buying any of these discs, like we just had a bunch of new discs that come out, and I'm not saying don't support the manufacturers, but make sure you're also looking at those retailers, those small businesses, especially because a lot of them are closed right now, but they're working behind the scenes. I saw D.D. Carrollton, they're doing an auction thing tonight with some 20 different discs, because a lot of these people are trying to have to be creative on how to make a little bit of money in the world that we live in today. So again, that kind of reminder, I saw a post yesterday with like the Lucid X EMAC Truth, and kind of like always, again, I love we're supporting DD, but people get on there and get mad at DD because they get run out when there are 100 other small retailers like Derek. I mean, even I do it, nothing to the degree of them, but there's a ton of people like Derek that have those discs. So you definitely should be checking them out. I mean, still support, DD Latitude, but remember, there are people out there that this is their rent they're looking at. This is how they support their families. So that was really kind of my rant that I really wanted to go on. That Tracker bag kind of reminded me. Go ahead.
Yeah, I wanted to comment on that a minute too. Really, I'm gonna go out of my way to point out a few people. So with what you're saying there in small businesses, there's a lot of us out there who this is it for us. This is all we do. This is our livelihood. There's always those guys who have a full-time job and they sell discs on the side, or this is kind of an extra thing they do. But then there's a lot of us that this is it. This is my full-time job, for instance. But I think of guys also, like J. Ray, Tyler Searle, Matt Lloyd, guys out there that are running the RVs and things like that, and they're not able to get out there and run their events or sell their discs from their RV. So when you do see these guys popping up on the, on the Trilogy Marketplace or things like that, yeah, I agree. Those people need your support now more than ever, because the fact is, when those people are gone, we don't have people out there to run our events and to get these RVs out there and stuff. So when you support a small business, you're still supporting DynamicDiscs. DynamicDiscs makes money off of us as retailers, and obviously they make money off of their retail store. And we're not saying not to support the retail store by any means, but like you said, they sell out in 30 minutes of a Lucid X EMAC Truth, and then I see people on there saying, hey, I can't get a Lucid X EMAC Truth, when the reality is, there's a lot of places still. I know if you reached out to Tyler yesterday, or Matt Lloyd, or J. Ray, all of those guys had Lucid X Truths they could have provided you.
A lot of them probably still have them.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. And I'm lucky in that I do have a following, so I do have a support system there. But even we struggle. We still have felons and mavericks and sheriffs and stuff. We are out of EMAX, but in order for us to all keep doing what we're doing and be able to continue to do this for you guys, we do have to make it through these hard times. So and one thing I'll say is there are a lot of retailers out there, and I understand that retail in general can be a cutthroat business, but most of us in general are actually pretty good and like to stick together and like to help each other out. Jason and I talk all the time. Tyler and I talk all the time. I've done plenty of business with J. Ray and Earl at TriFly, the guys at 1010 Discs, I mean, all those people, these are all people that we all communicate with and we support each other. And there's more than enough. I did a game called Deal or No Deal on my page the other day just to kind of get people's mind off of the pandemic thing and kind of, you know, move a couple discs and build some excitement. And I had a gentleman named Brian Steele out of North Carolina who's a retailer message me privately to give me tips on how to do it better and how to provide a better interaction with my customers doing something similar. We don't have to be cutthroat about it. You know, we don't have to be people that are trying to steal business from each other and stuff. We're all in this together, and we are all supporting the same thing. And the best ones out there all are about growing the sport, and if we can make a living while doing it, that's just, you know, that's a bonus. So yeah, I definitely encourage everybody to try to support everybody that you can right now. If you're able, then do it. If you're not able, obviously pay your electric bill and your water bill and things like that first. You know, we don't expect anybody to put themselves in a jam. But if you have that opportunity and you can, then yeah, absolutely support those people.
All right, that's our rant for this time. So like I said, about 9 minutes before Rusko and Bobby come on. If you have any questions, put them in the comments or send them to us directly. So again, I want to thank Derek for coming here again, and hopefully we'll have him more regularly. I will let you guys know that my goal going forward is to continue the Trilogy Live is to move it to 7 p.m. on Thursday nights. That might change depending on my guest or what the situation is, but I'd like to try to get a little bit of consistency there. So, yeah, until next time, keep sharing the Trilogy love with the world, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.